Hi, just a quick thing before we get started what I forgot to mention in this video. This video is quite a lot of me talking. There's not a lot of movement. Obviously it's not a tutorial, it's kind of like a Q&A. So it's designed kind of to be watched in the background whilst you crochet along and just enjoy listening to my stories, listening to your questions and getting a few tips and tricks along the way. So I really hope you enjoy, keep crafting, keep knitting and carry on watching. Thank you. Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. If you're new, hello and welcome to our fun little crochet community. I'm here today with a bit of a different video. If you're looking for a crochet project or a crochet stitch or maybe some knitting stitches, go and check out my previous videos. This one's going to be a bit of a crochet chat. So I've done a few of these in the past where I've just sat and talked and crocheted along with you, but today I've asked on my Instagram for a few crochet questions and I've added a few talking points that I just want to talk about in this video as well. So this is all about crochet, my crochet, crochet in general, a few tips and tricks, all about crochet. So carry on watching if you want to hear about that, or go and check out my previous videos if you want to see those. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about today, and one of the first questions, was how did I get into crocheting? So this is obviously something that kind of everyone has their own story and their own journey through craft and through crocheting. Mine actually began with knitting. I actually got into this craft through knitting and then progressed into crochet. And the story is really simple, really. My friend, her mum taught me how to knit and I put it down for ages. I only did maybe one piece and it was full of loops, full of dropped stitches, but then one day I was bored and I looked at my knitting needles and thought, I'm going to learn how to cast on. So I learned how to cast on through YouTube, through this very platform, and learn how to knit. So I'll actually show you my first ever knitting piece if I can find it. So just found my first ever knitting piece, and as you can see it's got so many drop stitches, the tension is all over the place. As you can see it's really loopy and not very good at all, but I picked it up and I really enjoyed it. So I decided to carry on with knitting and learn through YouTube and learn all different stitches, learn how to purl, ended up making a few hats and scarves with knitting as well. And then as I continued knitting, I found that there were so many videos on YouTube for this thing called crochet. So I thought, well, I can knit now, so I should be able to crochet. So I decided to try it out, asked for some crochet hooks for Christmas, and then just began my crochet journey. So I learned how to crochet through, again, tutorials on YouTube. I taught myself. Bella Coco was someone I really looked up to. I still really look up to her. I'll leave her link in the description box below. And loads of other great channels out there. And I think that's kind of what inspired me to start making videos and start posting, was that I thought that because these people had inspired me, and they had taught me this amazing craft that I absolutely love and I don't know how I would live without, I wanted to share my experience and my inspiration and my projects and stitches with all of you to try and teach you or teach some new people how to knit and crochet. So I also have my first crochet piece here, which is the worst tension I think I've ever seen. As you can see, it's like a smiley face, it goes all the way up, but this is one of my first crochet pieces that's just with double crochets, and it's just, I was supposed to make a blanket but I'd run out of yarn, so that's why that's like that. But as you can see now, from this to this, I posted on my Instagram a few weeks ago that I'd come so far from these pieces to what I'm creating now is absolutely incredible. I never thought that I'd be able to do this. I never thought I'd be able to create patterns, never thought I'd be able to make videos or share my things on Instagram and be so well received. So I'm really, really excited and really happy that I'm able to share this with you. So that's kind of my story, starting off with knitting and then ending eventually in learning crochet. At the moment, I'm actually preferring crochet. I don't knit a lot, as you can probably tell. I do a few knitting videos because I do want to share that side of things as well, but I prefer crochet because I think it's much more forgiving. With maybe dropping stitches, you can go back, whereas if you drop stitches in knitting or make a mistake, it's very difficult to correct that. And obviously you can learn ways and adapt your ways, but I think that because I'm prone to making mistakes and I get frustrated if I do make mistakes, then I prefer to crochet and undo those mistakes and redo that. So I think at the moment I'm preferring crochet. I can do quite a few more stitches and projects with crochet, so that's why you see a lot more of there. So that's my crochet story. We're moving on to question 2 now. Now I've finished rambling on. Okay then, so moving on to my second question of the day. What is my favourite project? Now this was a really, really difficult one. People asked what was my favourite project of all time, what was my favourite project, and it's difficult because each piece that I create is unique and is one of a kind, and I love each individual piece, but obviously for many different reasons. So you can have pieces like blankets or scarves or teddy bears or I don't know, so many different pieces in crochet, and I love them each for different reasons. But I thought I'd show you some blankets that are my favourite today, because I prefer making blankets, baby blankets, and things like that. So I thought I'd show you some blankets. So my first blanket that I wanted to share with you was my Jasmine Stitch blanket. So I posted a video on how to create the Jasmine Stitch. So if you want to go and check that out, you can. It's one of my favourite stitches, so I was really excited to share that and be able to teach that to all of you as well. So I'll leave that in the description box below if you want to go and check out the Jasmine Stitch. But this is what I created with the Jasmine Stitch. So it's quite a puffy stitch, quite a thick stitch. And I really wanted to pair pinks and greys together because I'd found that those two colours were beautiful together and really, really perfect. So I wanted to create a blanket with that and with my favourite stitch. So I decided to do a stripy stitch here. But the Jasmine Stitch is one of my favourite stitches. Obviously it's really delicate because it's a flower and it's really pretty, but it's also quite thick. So it's quite good for maybe a winter blanket, but I really, really enjoyed creating this stitch and this blanket. So this is one of my favourite pieces. As I've said, I've got a few different pieces that I wanted to share with you today because I love everything I create. Even my fails, because I know every crocheter, well, I presume every crocheter has those fails. I have a little bag of them, that things that have just gone wrong or don't look quite right, but each piece I learn from and I can change and grow as a crocheter. Okay then, so for my second piece, I have the star blanket, and if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I've been posting about this recently a lot because this has been one of my favourite projects in August. I've always wanted to create the star blanket, again from Bella Coco, which I'll leave her video in the description box below, because I have to give her credit for this amazing pattern. I've always wanted to create one, and recently I've loved cotton yarns, so I thought I'd compare those together and create a beautiful cotton star blanket. And these blankets are really fun to create. Stitch is really easy, but it's really effective, and it just looks unique and special. So I've made two of these. I've made this one with the pink and the blue and the grey, and then I've also made a blue and a grey one. So yeah, I've really enjoyed making these blankets recently. Okay then, finally on the blanket aspect of my favourite project is this, again, another cotton blanket. And this one's a little bit of a lighter blanket, so maybe for the summer or again for a throw or something like this. And I really was excited to experiment with this stitch. Recently I found a crochet book which had loads of different blanket stitches in it, and it was absolutely gorgeous, and I found this one. So I decided I wanted to do this, but I was like, I don't know what colours to use, but I really wanted to include some rainbow colours and rainbow pastels and things like that. So I decided to compare these with the blanket stitch and then with some fun rainbow colours. So this is the blanket that I created. So these are Paintbox Cotton Aran. So I'll leave a link to Lovecraft and kind of the supplies I use in general in the description box. I use Lovecraft a lot because it's super quick delivery, it's super beautiful colours and really nice quality yarn. So I will leave that in the description box below as well. So that was my third blanket that I wanted to share with you today. Three of my favourite projects. I know they were all blankets, but one more I did want to talk about was my hero bears. So I will try my best to put a picture up if my editing skills will allow me to do that. But I'll try and put a picture up now of my hero bears because I actually don't have any of them left. I gave them all away to healthcare workers, my auntie and some of her friends and some people like that who were working and still are working to help keep us safe during this corona and COVID-19. So I decided I wanted to make a few of those, and I actually got really good feedback from them. I ended up making a lot of hero bears. So if you want to get into those, the NHS hero bears are an absolutely beautiful thing to create. They're really cute bears with the masks and the hat and the scrubs. So I will try my best. Hopefully I've been able to get a picture up here. So that was a really nice project that I enjoyed making over this lockdown period. That was kind of a memory and a souvenir, if you will, of this whole lockdown experience. So those are a few of my favourite projects. I know they were blankets and all of those, but that's what I really love to create. So if we move on to the next question now. Okay then, so my next question was, how do I choose my colours? And I was quite shocked when I got this question because I didn't think that I was very good with choosing colours. Sometimes they're not the best combinations, but sometimes they work out really well. So I use a few different things, mainly inspiration. So I'm constantly looking on Instagram. It's a super amazing platform for crocheters. I mean, it's such a wonderful community to be a part of, and I feel very fortunate to be a part of it. There's so many amazing crafters out there who are using beautiful colours and beautiful creations. So I use inspiration a lot from Instagram. YouTube is absolutely incredible. Watching tutorials, when I'm looking for inspiration, watching different tutorials, what colours they use, what yarns they're using. And also the third platform is Pinterest. I mean, that's a wonderful platform as well for colours and for inspiration. So I use inspiration, that's number one. Never be afraid to look elsewhere, to find inspiration from different platforms. All of your crochet communities and things like that. Never be afraid to do that, because they're there for inspiration, they're there to inspire you and to help you as well. Okay, so my next kind of thing is find your colours. So for me, my favourite colour is blue. So I use a lot of blues, greens and greys in my pieces, because those kind of colours really correspond with each other well. So find your colours. I mean, I'm more of a pastel colour, so I prefer like pastels, pastel yellows, blues, pinks. I prefer those instead of the bright bolder colours. I mean, I do use those as well in certain pieces, but for me my preference is pastel colours. So my next tip kind of for choosing colours is find the colours that you prefer and work with those. And then finally, how I choose colours, so from inspiration and finding your own colours, is to use an accent colour, but then also a colour to break the sections. So for example, whites and greys are a perfect example of these sorts of things. So if I show you this blanket again, you can see that I've actually got 3 kind of accent colours in this piece. So that's the pink, the blue and the grey. But then I also have a colour to break up the sections, which is a white, to break up the colours. So this is a really easy way to make sure that your crochet pieces look well, or that the colours go together. So some of these colours that you could use are greys, whites, even creams. Depending on what your colours are, you can use those breaking up colours to kind of accent, it kind of brings out the colours of your piece. So say you were doing a piece of work that you were only using 2 colours in, so you were going to use white for one of your colours and blue for another one of your colours. The blue would be the accent colour and the white would be the one that would break up the colour. But because you're using the white, the blue is going to showcase more and it's going to be brought out by that breaking up colour, which is the white. So I really like to use a other colour, undertoned colour, to just bring out the main colour of the piece. So those are my 3 kind of tips for choosing colours. Is don't be afraid to find inspiration from other places. Find your colours, so for me that's blues and pastels, and try using an accent colour and a colour to break up the sections. Okay then, so the next questions I got asked was about my crocheted water bottle carriers / holders. So if you haven't checked these out, please go and check them out. They're my very own pattern. I actually created it myself. I will leave the video in the description box below, or you can just go to my channel. It was only a few weeks ago, so it will be pretty easy to find. But these are made with cotton yarn, and they're just so that you can carry your water bottles easier. But I really love this pattern, and I would go and recommend checking it out if you're looking for a crochet project. But the question I got asked was my straps. When you're carrying them, do they dig in or hurt? Now for me, they don't really hurt. It doesn't really bother me. Sometimes I carry it just in my hand, or sometimes they're just nice as an accessory on your crochet water bottle and you'd have it in your bag anyway. But obviously if you are carrying them, then for me they don't really hurt. But I guess it depends on the weight of your water bottle, the weight of the contents of your water bottle. So a few little bits and bobs. If you are struggling with it, maybe try either having an experiment with lengthening or shortening the straps to see what suits you. So if you try lengthening it, maybe it can go over your shoulder, across your body, or on the other hand you could try shortening it, just experimenting with the length of the strap, because if you shorten it there might be less pull. So I'm not really sure if those will help, but definitely go and have an experiment with the different types of straps that you use. Maybe you like to sew one on that's a little bit more comfortable, but obviously it's totally up to you. So I hope that helps a little bit. Maybe just have a bit of an experiment with the strap length. or the straps that you're using. Okay then, so that's all of my questions today, but one thing I just wanted to talk about was the things that I have enjoyed in crochet recently. So obviously there's been a lot of change, and I've now been able to grow my channel and my account and kind of my little hooks and needles brand into Instagram and YouTube and all of that. But a few things that I just wanted to mention was that I really enjoyed growing. So number one is that I've really enjoyed creating my own patterns with crochet. I never thought I would be able to achieve that and be able to come up with my own ideas. I started off just like all of you, watching tutorials, reading patterns and creating other people's patterns and ideas. And I think because of that experience, and because I've made quite a few pieces in crochet, that I've been able to pick up a few things on the way, kind of the rules and just some tips and tricks that I've been able to add into my own patterns as well. So I've really loved sharing those with you. Some of those are water bottle holders, the baby beanies, the hearts. All of those things come from me, and I've really just loved just experimenting with that and that side of the crochet world, and seeing my work grow and me being able to achieve that is incredible. So that's one thing I've enjoyed. The second thing is experimenting with different yarns. So recently I have experimented with a few different types of yarns actually, which is part of the reason I'm showing this, because this is my mandala that I created and it has so many different types of yarn in there. But I've loved working with obviously acrylic yarn and just the kind of basics. Now recently I have grown into cottons. I really love the cotton yarn at the moment. It's just so different and textured, and it's a nice yarn to work with, a bit different as well. So I've done, obviously, as you've seen, a few baby blankets with that, which I've really enjoyed creating with those cottons. And then also the second yarn that I've loved working with is the t-shirt yarn. So if you haven't checked out my video already on the pencil pots, I really loved creating those, and the yarn that I used for those was t-shirt yarn, and I've never used t-shirt yarn before, and I've seen people use t-shirt yarn and seen their product or their creations and never really thought to use it myself. But it's a really nice yarn to use and to work with. It's very different and very stretchy, so you do have to watch out with tension and bits and bobs like that. But I really enjoyed experimenting with different yarns recently. So that's the second thing that I've enjoyed with crochet recently. And the third and final thing is being part of this wonderful community. So I just wanted to say a really big thank you to everyone on here and over on my Instagram. You're such a wonderful community, so kind, so inspirational. There are so many crochet and knitters out there who I look up to and think are absolutely incredible, and their creations are absolutely beautiful. But being a part of this and seeing everyone and see my following grow and see all of your wonderful comments and likes and stories and everything like that, I've just really loved being a part of this. So thank you so much. So those are my three main things that I've enjoyed in crochet recently. Okay, so finally, because my battery is about to die and you're probably bored by now, just some upcoming projects and past videos that you might want to check out. So upcoming, I have a fun little hand sanitizer project for you. Just kind of like my water bottle holders, but for hand sanitizers. So it's a fun, quick little project if you're looking for one like that. Also some new stitches, the crab stitch edging thingy-mabobby, alpine stitch I really want to teach you how to do. If I can try, I really want to get some baby booties or baby socks, that kind of project out, but I'm still working on that, still experimenting with that project. And past videos that you might want to check out, my water bottle holders, please go and check those out. If you're looking for some pencil pots, go and check those pencil pot videos out, they're really fun as well. Scrap yarn project, the fun rainbows. I know that video is doing really well at the moment. If you're looking for some crochet stitches, I have the jasmine stitch. That's an amazing stitch, one of my favourites. What else do we have? The bead stitch, I love that stitch. The waffle stitch, those are all super textured stitches as well, so you can go and check those out. And if you're learning to crochet and this is your first video, I'm sorry for rambling on, go and scroll down or check out my description box and I'll leave some links on beginner crochet videos that I've got to do. I do need to redo those because it was about a year ago now that I've done those, so maybe in the future I'll do some more beginner videos. But thank you all. I just wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone in the crochet community for supporting and watching my videos. Also to all my subscribers, thank you for subscribing. I hope the videos are helpful and I hope you're enjoying making some crochet creations of your own. I do want to try and get these done maybe once a month or every so often. So if you do like these videos and you did enjoy this one today, please leave me a comment or leave me a like just so that I know if you enjoyed it. And subscribe to my channel so you never miss a video and you can watch crochet projects, crochet stitches, knitting and much more. So thank you all for watching and I'll see you next week. Bye.